Hello. Hello, everyone. Justin Nelson. Thank you so much for watching our webinar. It was value packed. It was all about creating your recruiting business. If you are a team owner or a team leader, you know this by now. You have two companies. Your second company is your real estate team or brokerage. Your first company is your attraction and recruiting business. Your team or your brokerage does not exist without your first company. So my promise to you was I was going to deliver value and show you how we built our recruiting business and our recruiting machine. I am joined now by Brooke Bishop. Brooke, if you could give a quick introduction of why you're on this call, and also not just why you're on this call, but your expertise and kind of what you've done with what we're creating.
Yeah, so my name is Brooke Bishop. I've been in the both real estate, personal development, coaching space for the last 22 years. So I've gotten to work with the who's who in all of those platforms and in those arenas. So what we're going to share with you guys today is both a process that I'd highly encourage everyone to use in all aspects of your business, but most importantly, for the purposes of today, take this system, put it in play. This is the gold mine of real estate. I mean, it really, truly is where the boys are separated from the men, where the girls are separated from the women. This is where the change takes place. So I'm going to just basically be here as a support mechanism, just to be asking questions and supporting you, Justin, and capturing this so that everyone watching can see the flow and how this plays out. And at the end of it, the thing that's really cool is everyone's going to have a downloadable system that they can take, rinse, and repeat in their market.
This is exactly how we have built our team, our brokerage, and our network. And just to give you some simple numbers, our network is now over 800 agents in less than a year. We built a brokerage from the ground up, from 0 to 120 agents in less than 9 months. We sold that brokerage. Now we exclusively are focusing on our team. 2 years ago, our team was at 7 agents. We are now at 75 agents plus without compromising our splits at all. We are 50-50 on our SOI. We are 70 to us, 30 to our agents on our lead generation. And this is exactly how we built it. Now, this is going to seem simple, but simplicity is success. Complexity is the enemy of success. So we're going to build it in front of you in real time, and we're going to deliver you the built document so you can see a visual as well. So let's jump right in.
Cool. I'm glad you gave that pre-frame too of the simplicity, because this is going to be really simple as we go through it. If we just gave you the downloadable at the end, your brain would look at it and go, holy crap, that's complex. This is why we want to bring everybody in to the simplicity of the build, because as we build it, it'll make a heck of a lot more sense. So I'm really stoked you made that distinction. All right, let's rock and roll. All right, so when it comes to the recruitment machine, who all is involved in this bad boy, Justin?
So there's 3 main players in our recruiting machine. Number 1 is me. I am the leader. I take full responsibility of our recruiting business. If you don't have a leader, you don't have a company. Number 2, and some of you might not be in this position yet, but we have a VP of recruiting. We have only had that VP of recruiting for 4 months now. So once you get to that tipping point, it is a game changer, but not necessary. If it's just you, it's just you. You can still play this game if you're the only one playing. And then next is our virtual assistant, verbal recruiter. So she's in the Philippines. Virtual assistant. She is part of our international team, and she is the one responsible for calling and texting all new agents and agents that are in a low level of production. And she is currently putting 15 to 20 recruiting appointments on my calendar or our VP of recruiting's calendar.
Fantastic. Anybody else involved?
At a high level, that's who you need. Leadership, VP of recruiting, virtual assistant.
Beautiful. All right. So next big question, I know everyone's asking, where the heck are you getting these people? Where are you getting these agents? Where are you getting these candidates?
It's very simple, you guys. Again, we all have access to agents. We just need to simplify how are we connecting to the agents. And this is how we're connecting to agents. Number 1 is Indeed ads. Number 2, real estate schools. Number 3, social media.
Paid or organic or both?
Both. We target and just organic.
Beautiful.
Number 4, broker metrics. Broker metrics gives us here in the state of Utah, and I'm not sure if you have broker metrics in your state, but you may have to get more creative in the state that you're in. But bottom line, there is a way to get access to every agent in your market. We have every agent in our market with their production and the brokerage that they're a part of, and we have that dialed in, and we'll show you in a second into a CRM.
And I'm just one adding there. I'm pretty certain you can buy the list from the NAR as well. I know it's not cheap, super cheap, but I know that that's another way. If broker metrics isn't easily accessible, it's another one you can add in. Perfect.
Bottom line, we don't have to get very resourceful in Utah. We use broker metrics. Depending on your market, you may have to get a little resourceful, but you can find a way to get access to all names, phone numbers, and emails of the agents in your market.
Perfect. All right. What technology, what systems we using?
We use our separate CRM, and we have chosen to use Active Campaign. I don't care what CRM you use. It just has to be separate than the one you're using for your real estate business. Number 2 is Sisu Recruiting. If you're on this call, if you watch the webinar, there's a great chance that you're already part of Sisu. But just like Sisu has been a game changer for our real estate company, it has been a game changer for our recruiting business because it tracks all conversations, appointments set, appointments met, and recruiting and onboarded with all dates and information needed. So this truly is a separate business. And if you're going to have a separate business, you need a separate Sisu.
Perfect.
And then the third system, any way that you want to do this, and you can fully reach out to us to help you dial this in, you need a basic virtual assistant setup. Computer, internet access, dialers, access to the CRM, just a basic working setup for your virtual assistant.
Yeah. And just for anybody who's using Active Campaign, if you are going that route, they have a piece of technology called Just Call that integrates straight into Active Campaign for the phone system for the VA. And it would show up and reflect as a US based number, and it's super inexpensive, but that helps you there. And then I know you guys are also running Slack just for internal communications. So just for some added pieces to make things a little bit easier.
Yeah, that's a good point, Brooke. Slack, we do our end of the day reports, how many appointments set, how many appointments met, we celebrate. So our virtual assistant's on there, I'm on there, and our VP of recruiting. So we are all on the same page.
Perfect. Okay, so what I'd love to do is as we build out the step-by-step, which of these 4 do you think is the best one for us to start with in terms of how we're doing this?
The one that we have seen the most success with has been real estate schools, so newer agents. So let's start there.
Cool. Beautiful. All right. So what I'd love for you to do is just literally walk through step by step of this happens, then that happens. And if we miss a step, don't stress on it. I'm just going to add it back in. I can move everything around. For anybody that's watching this too, if you're wondering what the heck technology am I using, it's called Lucid Chart, Lucid. You can see Lucid up here. One of my favorite pieces of technology just for planning. So it allows us to map all this jazz out. So anyways, Justin, let it rip, brother.
So again, here in Utah, we do not have to be resourceful at all. We reached out to the real estate schools and we paid for everyone that's graduated and everyone that's going through real estate school. Now, in your market, you may have to get a little more creative about attending their events, speaking to their new agents, contributing to adding value to their schools. But there is a way to get access to their agents. But depending on the market that you're in, you may have to get a little more creative. We just simply buy the list and it's delivered to us monthly, and then we put that into Active Campaign.
Perfect.
Now, this is where I'm going to oversimplify. This is how we recruit our agents. We call, we text, we email, we invite, and we target on social media.
So you're taking the real estate list and you're also using that list as part of your targeting on social media.
Yes. So
okay, cool.
They fall into all of these categories: call, text, email.
Is there what specific sequence, which order do you do that in?
Nothing will ever beat calling.
Do you call first, or do you warm them up with a text and an email first?
So if it's me, let's say back when I had complete ownership of our recruiting business and it was only me, I could jump on the phone with a new agent list and book 5 to 7 appointments in under an hour. You do that every day, we're talking 30 to 50 appointments in a week.
Perfect.
We already went into the scripting. That's in the webinar. I'm not going to go into that today, but calling will outperform all of this with the right script. Our virtual assistant, though, books the majority of her appointments through text.
Beautiful distinction. Okay. So, all right, perfect. So you're making a call, or I'm assuming your VP of recruiting is making a call once you have that person in play. And the text messages are going out. The virtual assistant's helping with those. I'm assuming the virtual assistant's probably helping with the emails, or you're setting up automated campaigns through your CRM. Yes. And then this is all driving to book a strategy session, right?
Yes. Everything, all roads, all rivers, everything in our ecosystem and in this company leads to a strategy session. All value is in the strategy session, not in recruiting the agent. That is why I emphasized in that webinar that you better have a powerful, dialed in, scripted strategy session.
Beautiful. Okay. So let's say you book a strategy session, or the prospective agent books a strategy session with you and they don't show up. Do you have a process that follows up with them or anything that goes out to them?
First of all, if I'm the one running this, and at one time I did not allow no-shows. How do you not allow no-shows?
Give me context around that.
You send a video of yourself, you text confirmation, you give them homework, you promote so much value in that strategy session that they would be stupid to miss it. And we went over this in the webinar, but what we offer new agents is how to choose a brokerage, how to get started in the business, and how to hit your financial goals in the first year. And then I give them homework around all of that. Then they immediately get a calendar invite. They get a text from me with all the information they need for that strategy session. Then they're hearing from me the day of saying, hey, I'm fully prepared. I'm coming prepared with A, B, and C. Please come prepared with A, B, and C. I'll see you at 1.
Are you doing that as that last one you just mentioned? Was that a text, an email, or a call, or all three?
It's a text, a video, and a calendar invite. Beautiful. That's how you don't allow no-shows in your world. Now, here's the other thing. If they are a minute late to that Zoom, I'm picking up the phone and I'm calling them, and I'm either getting them on the Zoom or I'm rescheduling them.
Perfect. Okay.
When my virtual assistant books it, she is now in charge of eliminating no-shows. So there's a video sent out, of a 4-minute video of me speaking on stage, training our agents. So it gives me a lot of significance and value. So they have this feeling of like, whoa, I'm meeting with like the main person.
Perfect.
There's that homework that they have to be prepared with so that they now have a perceived value in the appointment. And then my virtual assistant is texting the day of, confirming the appointment. Not with weak language like, hey, just checking to see if you're going to make the appointment. It's Justin is fully prepared. He's committed to adding value to your life. See you today at 2.
Perfect. Okay. So day of appointment, these confirmations, the SMS, call confirmation. Okay. So then the meeting runs, right? So meeting runs, strategy session runs.
Yes.
Okay. And in terms of, so after, I'm assuming this is where you're going to be baking in heavy on your USP. You're going to be talking about from a place of leadership. Like, walk me through what that strategy session, just a quick rundown.
Because they already got the video of the strategy session, I don't want to spend so much time
perfect.
on this,
Keep rolling.
but I do want to frame it right now. My strategy session is better than everybody else's in the industry, period. I can recruit anybody that I want based on this strategy session because I practiced it, I've rehearsed it, I put pen to paper, I've chanted it. And it's all about value and discovery. And I deliver value, I deliver energy so that they have a moment with me where they're like, whoa, this is different than any recruiting appointment that I've ever been on. My value proposition in this strategy session is about 90 seconds to 2 minutes. I let them tell me what they need. I let them tell me about their financial goals. I am all discovery. I am a truth seeker, and then I'm a truth teller. Now, here's my power in the strategy session. It's not about recruiting them. It's about offering the next step. All value is in the next step. And I go over the language of that, so please watch that 30-minute video. But here are the next steps. The next step right after the strategy session is they need to experience my culture. So that I invite them to a team meeting or a training so that they can come into my environment, take a look around, meet our agents, and they get to determine, is this the culture that I want to be a part of?
Beautiful. Then what?
Next step after they either love our culture or hate our culture. And I'm very clear on that because we are raw, we are high vibe, we are accountability, we are numbers driven. And a lot of times agents get onto our culture and be like, whoa, Justin, I respect it, but I don't want to be a part of it. And so that ends there. Or, which most cases happens, is this is so much different than anything I've ever experienced. I would love to be a part of it. What's the next step? And the next step is a full-on interview. Now, I think this is where people kind of muddy the waters, is they treat that first strategy session like a recruiting appointment or an interview. That's not. That's a strategy session to get them clarity on the business they want, the challenges they're facing, what they actually need. And then I offer the solution of coming into our culture. They love our culture. Then they sit down for a full-on interview with me. And this is where we break down splits and lead generation and accountability and systems. This is where we really get into the details of the team.
Perfect. So I love that distinction. And I can also just think from the aspects of recruiting somebody. People are always wanting to know what's in it for me. And most brokerages are like, well, this is the split. And so then everything's hinging off of a number versus all the other pieces, which is really the meat and potatoes of why they want to work with you. So love that.
Love that. And we don't talk splits around here. Come on.
Great.
We talk financial goals. We talk personal development. And I have a plan to hit your financial goal. I don't care what your financial goal is. If it's 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, or 600, we have a plan and I can reverse engineer that down to the minute. When you start talking that language, financial goals, personal development, and I can point to agents doing exactly what they want and introduce them to those agents, they forget about splits and they're
Game
like,
over.
This is the culture that I want to be a part of.
Love that. Okay, cool. So full interview happens, then what?
Then it is hello week. So in that interview, we will be making a decision. And in that interview, if I at any time don't believe they are a good fit, I will value prop them out of our company and start telling them how amazing we are, the da 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 da. And then I'll recommend and say, you know what you should do is you should interview 5 or 6 brokerages or teams and really get a good feel for what's out there. And if you feel like we're the strongest choice, please give me a call. They don't call because I value prop them out of my organization. If I really want this person in an interview, I stand up, I shake their hand, I look them in the eye, and I'll say these exact words. Every single agent on my team will tell you that I said these exact same words to them because I did. You should be on this team. But here's the thing. I interview 40 to 60 agents a month. We decide to partner with about 4 of those agents. I only say these words to 4 agents a month. Based on your goals, what you need, where you're at in life, and what you're searching for, I absolutely believe we are the best vehicle for you. I will close them right there and they'll say, Justin, I feel the exact same way. I want to be a part of this team. How do I make that happen? It's an honor and it's a privilege to be on this team. That's why we do strategy sessions. That's why we do, they get to see our culture. That's why they do a full interview with me. Now the next step is Hello Week. And Hello Week is where they get to spend an entire week with the team. They go to every training, every meeting, meet all of our agents, and they have significant homework. They are learning our database. They are texting multiple leads a day. They're putting a complete SOI list together because I am not going to fully onboard someone or train them if they're not willing to work. We're going to figure out in the first week, are you willing to work? And if so, then we'll onboard you, then we'll train you.
I love that. You have an actual testing ground versus it's like, here's the splits. Do you want to hang your hat here? Great. Now figure it out. Like this is such a counterintuitive way compared to how most people on the planet are doing it. Absolutely love this. Okay. So they go through Hello Week. Now I'm assuming at the end of that, there's either they make it or they don't, right?
We're going to end it there because if we were to go into our next 45 days, we would be here for 2 more hours.
So here's a quote.
I will tell you this. There is empirical data saying that if your first 45 days are dialed in, the chances of them staying with you 2+ years go through the roof. You are going to win long-term agents in your first 45 days. So you better have clarity, training, a roadmap to success, accountability, mentorship. And this is a whole nother topic, but that's where you're going to win long-term agents, is in that experience of their first 45 days.
Love it. Okay. So this is really, really cool. So as we were mentioning in the beginning, remember, it's super simple. I'm hoping everybody watching is going, oh yeah, that's super simple. Look at how complex it got real fast. So this is why we wanted to chunk it out. So what I want to highlight in here for a moment, at what point, so if we're looking at the other lead types or the other, which they're lead types for our agents. So Indeed ads. So I'm assuming, is it safe to assume that we're just placing ads on Indeed and it runs the same exact gauntlet all the way through?
So Indeed ads are capturing everybody in the industry and everyone outside of the industry. So it's an ad geared to a sales professional that really wants to make more money. And what we found is there's a lot of talented salespeople out there that could make a lot more money on our team than they're currently making in their sales position. So we have ads geared towards that. Now, I am not going to sit down and do a strategy session with someone that doesn't have their license or someone that's not currently getting their license. So we actually funnel our Indeed ads, the people that accept and want to be, that raise their hand, that want to meet with us, to a group interview. Now, after that group interview, then it's exactly the same.
Cool. So after the group interview, the ones that make it, then I'm assuming they're going to go straight into this same process right here. Yeah.
They'll actually go straight to the strategy session.
Oh, cool.
Okay. And the reason for the group interview is we'll have 8 to 10 people show up for that group interview based on how they show up, how they're dressed, what their goals are, how they communicate during that group interview. We can whittle that down to 1 or 2 people that we should actually have a strategy session with. So this is protecting our time.
Love that. Okay. And then social media, organic, paid, where do they get driven to?
So this is more of an attraction thing. Okay. So let me break down some stuff that we all need to be doing on social media. First of all, the only thing that attracts agents to your organization is leadership, period. What kind of value are you adding to the market? What kind of message are you putting out to the market? Are you putting testimonials out of your agents? Are you celebrating and recognizing your agents? Because that is what will attract agents to your organization if they can see other agents being successful in your organization. What will not attract is your ego. So put your agents out front, celebrate and recognize your agents. Also, if you go to Utah Life homepage on Instagram, you will see nothing about us helping people buy and sell real estate. Our customers, our clients are real estate agents. So that is the business that we have chosen to be in. Our agents help people buy and sell real estate. So our whole Utah Life homepage is geared to attracting agents, not clients.
Love that. Okay. So place ads. So Facebook, Instagram, as well as social posts. I'm assuming all of these go into, do these guys go to a group interview as well? Or do you put them straight, if they respond on here, do you take them straight to strategy?
Here's the cool part. It's more organic because we have such a strong message. We're celebrating so often. We're posting 3 to 4 times a day. We're having people DM us 2 to 3 times a week. Hey, I would love to know more about your world. Hey, how do I meet with somebody? What's going on over there? Can I meet with Justin? So the key to social media is the consistency and the message.
Cool. And then in terms of process, that's where I love, my brain goes back to process. So somebody DMs you on Facebook, or somebody responds to an ad, or somebody puts in a comment, where we take them straight to book a strategy session, or do they also go over?
Yep. If they are an agent or if they're getting their license, straight to strategy session. If
Perfect.
they're interested in getting their license, then it would be a 10 to 15 minute conversation, probably 10 minutes of next steps for them to decide if they want to get into real estate. If they decide ultimately to get into real estate, once they've signed up for the school, then we can talk.
Perfect. Then broker metrics, just full transparency, that's not something that I'm used to in my orbit. Does broker metrics follow any of these same pathways, or is it its own little ecosystem?
So broker metrics is going to be the same as new agents. So if you want to put it up there with the real estate schools, because
Perfect.
it's identical. We put
sense.
the real estate school lists into Active Campaign and we organize them.
Sweet.
We put all 26,000 agents in the state of Utah into Active Campaign, and they're organized into lists based on production. So here's how you recruit a veteran agent. You call, you text, you email, you invite, and you target.
Okay, so I want to hit on this because I think this is important. You'll notice this is a very similar process to prospecting, right? So for those that are watching this, and I already know the answer, but I want to hear the words come out of your mouth. How many times do you call and text and email?
So here's the thing about calling. We have a drip campaign that's constant, that will be sending out value all the time. Messages about the market, how to crush it in your market, how to improve some aspect of your business. These are not recruiting emails. These are all value-based. And when do you stop calling or texting? Never. Just keep going. This is a numbers game. This is not a persuasion game. You're not going to persuade somebody to switch brokerages. But how many agents do you know that have switched brokerages? How many times have you personally switched brokerages? And I'm going to tell you right now, the recruiting game in Utah, I can't speak for where you're at, is incredibly weak. There are no strong leaders picking up the phone. And if you're committed to growing your organization, and based on that webinar, you should be, watch it. It is the most important part of our business. It is the only thing that will ever lead to profit. Recruiting is the only thing that will provide solutions and solve problems. And if you as a leader dedicated 1 hour a day, 5 days a week to picking up the phone, dialing in your scripts, being true with your intentions, standing in your power, your team will be transformed within months. Calling will, I don't want to use too aggressive language here, will trump or outperform. I was going to say like murder everything else, because calling will work better than anything you can do on social media, anything you can do on email. Picking up the phone will outperform all of these.
I'm just going to double down on that, just because we've got a lot of people in our world that, in the outbound sales world, text messaging and emailing is a passive approach. Even though you feel like you're doing something that's reaching out to somebody, it's passive. It forces somebody else to have to respond. The calls will always, always, always win, because it is a proactive measure. If they pick up the phone, your skills, your capacity, your sharpness to influence, it's unique and it's specific to them. So I totally agree with you. The text message and email, it's going to be easy for people to go, oh, I'll just do these two pieces. I don't have time for this. If you really are truly committed to the results, it's the phone call, plain and simple.
And here's the key to all of this working. And again, did we like give you something that's like groundbreaking here, something you've never heard? No, but here's what works: consistency. Have you really picked up the phone for 90 days straight, 5 days a week? And if you haven't, you have not played the recruiting game. Have you sent a drip campaign for 90 days straight to a target audience? If you haven't, you're not playing the right game. All of this works, but it only works if you're consistent.
Yep. No, I totally would echo that sentiment. And here's the cool part. You put all this stuff down the line into a system. It's really simple. Get on the calendar, use a Calendly link or whichever scheduling system you got. And then this just runs. The key piece here, the fuel and the fire is you have to be consistent over here. You have to have those value add campaigns running. You have to be consistently making calls. You have to be consistently promoting on social. You've got to have your ads running on Indeed. And you can see too, one of these will absolutely get you across the finish line. If, let's say, 1 month, your real estate schools, you're not getting a lot of hits there. Well, guess what? You've got another leg under the stool that's keeping you running here. Well, and guess what? This is all going to support and reinforce everything else. So now you've got a monster. You've got a machine that is just churning and burning and bringing people into your orbit. Absolutely love it. So is there any steps we're missing?
I think that gives them a pretty clear idea of exactly what we're doing. And I'm going to be completely transparent right now. We're dropping the ball on a few of these, but I'll tell you what works every single time is me picking up the phone. I'll tell you what works every single time is Lucy, my VP of recruiting, picking up the phone. If you want to drive your numbers forward, organize the lists, create a separate CRM, and call them for a certain amount of time every day with the intention of booking a certain amount of appointments, and you will win. Now, the reason with veteran agents, I can book 3 in an hour. With new agents, I can book 7+ in an hour, is I am so certain in my personal value. And I am so confident in the value that I'm going to provide in the strategy session. And I reveal my true intentions immediately. I do not play a fluffy game of like, hey, I've been looking at your production. You've been crushing it. I have not been looking at their personal production. I don't have time for that. But I do have time to call somebody and have a real conversation about the value I could add to their life and see if they would be open to having a conversation with me. And as long as I get some kind of yes or maybe, I am so proud of the value that I offer in a strategy session that they feel the certainty in my voice. And that does not come from me taping something together or practicing scripts with them on the phone. It comes from me methodically planning it out, putting pen to paper, rehearsing it and chanting it and knowing my value. So please understand that all of this is amazing, but it all falls apart if you don't have a powerful strategy session.
And I'm going to put this in, we're going to change the color of this bad boy. We're going to make this is where the money's at. I'm going to make it green. Right. And so there's a couple of pieces that I just want to highlight before we sign off. Compared to the mass majority of people that are out there, most people are waiting for an agent to find them. And then they're at the mercy of whatever that agent wants and trying to bring them on. The thing I love about this approach is it becomes a numbers game. You get to stay in integrity and authenticity. You get to tell them the truth from the front to the back. You only bring people on that are fitting the model that you've already set up, which is set for profitability. And if people want to play, they know what they're getting into from the get-go. And the beautiful part is you don't need everybody to say yes. So that's the really cool piece. It's like, no, we only want like 2 to 3 out of the 10 that are the right ones coming in. So you don't have all the craziness. I was going to use some other colorful language down the road. So yeah, this is just beautiful, man. So thank you for sharing this, bro.
I want to say one thing on that, and you heard me say this in the webinar. Sometimes we have a limiting belief that sometimes agents don't believe in what we have to offer. But here's the thing. There's 26,000 agents in the state of Utah. I don't care what 25,800 of them think about my team. I need to recruit 200 and enroll them into my culture and then re-enroll them. So I want you to add one step, Brooke, at the very, very end. So once you go through onboarding, which we're not going to get into today, so this is the last step. Here is the step that I think most of us are missing. We must be constantly re-enrolling and recruiting our current agents. This is why I have agents on my team 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. By the way, on a 50-50 split on their SOI, 70-30 on our lead generation. Because I am constantly doing strategy sessions with them, re-enrolling them in the value, getting them to re-enroll themselves. Like, what do you need? What are you searching for? This is my goal this year. I need accountability. I need systems. Our job basically starts once they've been onboarded. That's when recruiting begins. And that's the power of our culture, is they're always re-enrolling our current agents.
We talk about this all the time in Scale Up and with all the different programs we have. It's recruit, train, retain. This is perfect example of that. We're recruiting, we're training them before we even bring them in the house. Then when they're officially on, we put them through a 45-day training, legit training. And then I loved how you adequately explained that, which is we have to keep re-recruiting and retraining them so that they stick around, right? That's the glue that makes it just amazing. And that's why the testament of why your guys' team is doing so much. So this is awesome, brother. Any other pieces you want to add to the mix before we bounce out? Because I think this is...
The only thing I'll say is this, you guys, I know it looks complex, but you basically decide where are you going to find your agents, organize them into the correct systems, reach out consistently, have a powerful strategy session, let them experience your world, full on interview, and then hello week. It's just a clean through line. And this is ingrained in me. I just know what step they're on, what process, how to move agents forward. And this visual will bring you a lot of clarity. So again, today was all value. What our promise to you is this: you will have this video in your hand. You're obviously watching it, but we're also going to clean this up. We're going to make it color coded. We're going to make it beautiful. And we're going to deliver this document to you as well, so that you can have a visual and just steal ours, R&D it, rip off and duplicate, or create your own.
Cool. Rock on, man. All right. Well, with that, let's sign off this bad boy.
Go recruit. See you soon.
Bye.
Thank you guys.